Hello and welcome to Bags of Action. My name's Steve and this is a 5-minute review of Richard Jewell from 2019. The film is directed by Clint Eastwood and it stars Paul Walter Hauser, Sam Rockwell, Kathy Bates, Jon Hamm, Olivia Wilde, Nina Arianda, and a whole host of well-known names. The film is based upon true events and focuses on the real-life figure of a man called Richard Jewell, who was a security guard working as a volunteer during the 1996 Atlanta Olympics, where he found a bomb. During the course of the film, and obviously the real events that it's based upon, Jewell warns a bunch of people, they clear the area and get back, and whilst he's doing that, the bomb goes off. It does kill a couple of people and injures dozens more, but without his intervention, it would have been much worse and many more people would have died. In the film, he is initially hailed as a hero by the public and the FBI and all of the authorities. However, as the story progresses and the FBI team, led by Jon Hamm's character, are looking for the perpetrator, the tide begins to turn and the spotlight falls on Jewell. He has a complicated background. He was previously in the police force, but he was forced to leave. He was a security guard on a campus university, and there again he was asked to leave that job. He's quite enthusiastic about guns, and he knows a lot of things on the fringe, which almost makes him fit the profile. He's someone who lives alone with his mum, but despite all of the things that have happened to him, he wants to get back into the police force and has a genuine respect and admiration for anybody in the police or the FBI. Olivia Wilde plays a ruthless and cutthroat journalist who leaks the information that she was originally given from the FBI saying that they were investigating Jewell, and this wasn't public knowledge. So she got the exclusive, she got to break it to the world before their investigation had really gone very far. And what follows is a trial by public opinion. The FBI then have to look into him and do everything under the spotlight, with the public watching, the media watching, and every part of Richard's life is put under the microscope as the authorities search for a reason to blame him and find some evidence that he was responsible. During the course of the story, Richard meets Sam Rockwell. His character is called Watson Bryant, who's a lawyer. They previously worked together in an office, and because he knows Richard, he agrees to take him on as a client. And over the course of the film, he begins to find out some of this information at the same time as the media. So it looks like he doesn't really know his client, which complicates things even more. Despite the fact that he's under intense scrutiny and there's a lot of pressure from the media, Jewell remains positive about the FBI. He knows that they just have to clear him as a suspect, and he believes that they are on his side. Watson is continuously telling him that they're not. They want to string him up. They want to prove that he's responsible, but he believes in the process, despite the warnings of his lawyer. He believes that they're his friends and his allies. This film is quite a complicated one. It's very uncomfortable at the time, and it looks at the media and the power that they have to affect people by public opinion. They can subvert the course of justice, and the leaked information in this case completely changed the investigation of the FBI because suddenly they're doing it with the world watching over their shoulder. Even though in the film and in real life, Jewell is eventually cleared of all charges, it undoubtedly affected him and the life of all of those around him because he wasn't a perfect man. He had his flaws and he had lots of grey areas, much like everybody else does. So the film looks at profiling as well and how useful it can be for the FBI, but also how dangerous, because they used a model that existed from a previous bomber to say Jewell must fit in this box, and they kept searching for evidence to prove that theory rather than going after the real perpetrator, who wasn't found until many years later. They're desperate, they're under pressure, and they've got the media and the public breathing down their neck to get this done. So they put a lot of time and effort into Richard when they really shouldn't. Eastwood is a master of his craft. He's so good at what he does in directing a film, it's almost effortless. There are moments in the film where he blends real life footage and he recreates things so that you really feel that you're at the Olympics during the 1990s. And you can't really tell what is real and what has been recreated. The whole cast in this film is amazing. Hauser as Jewell is excellent. The character has this kind of sweet naivety in him. He believes in authority and believes that they will prove his innocence. But over the course of the film, his belief is gradually eroded. And throughout the film, the character is fairly level. He only loses his temper once, when everyone else is getting angry around him and saying that he should be angry, but he trusts in the authority. And when he is eventually cleared, it's a real heartbreaking moment because he finally gives in and shows how he's truly feeling. Kathy Bates plays his mother, and she's brilliant as Bobby. She's so good in this. She's so loving and genuine, and you can see that she's more cynical than her son, but she can see the good in him, and she knows that he's not guilty. And gradually some of the other characters also begin to have doubts, although some of them never veer from their initial assessment and believe absolutely that he's the one responsible. The film is slow, but it is very engaging, and I knew that going in it wasn't going to be a really fast-paced action film. There are nuances in the performance, and the story takes a few twists and turns, but mostly I would say that it's a character drama about society, the media, authority, and the ability of different organisations to ruin or improve a person's life. At the start, Jewell is doing TV interviews and radio interviews. They're talking about a book deal, and everything's looking up for him. But his concern in the moment was none of that. It was just about saving lives. And as likeable as this character is at times, because he's so naive and you want him to get angry, you still care about him. And it's emotional and intriguing, quite a gripping film. I would say it's a film that also stays with you when you begin to think about it beyond the surface of one person. Because there's a moment in the film where Richard says, if others see this happen to me and something comes up like this in the future and they see a bomb, then they won't see anything. They're going to walk away. And that's ultimately going to cost lives. Because he was labelled as guilty, and it dragged out things and caused a lot of complications for him and his life. So it shows you what bad journalists can do, the power of the media, and how it can affect the whole person's life. And the situation is much worse now than ever it was during the 1990s because of social media and the 24-hour news cycle. It's a complicated film. There's a lot to unpack. Really good performances, amazing cast, fantastic direction. There isn't anything I didn't enjoy about it, and it's the kind of film I want to go back and watch it again just to look at some of the nuances in the performance. So for all those reasons, I'm going to give it 5 out of 5. Have you seen Richard Jewell? If so, get in touch with us. You can contact us in the usual way. You can contact us via email, the Facebook group. You can leave us a comment below. We have new episodes coming out every week on the YouTube channel, so don't forget to like and subscribe there. And thanks for listening.